Is your fridge absolutely overrun with pickle juice? You can't just throw it away. You don't want to drink it all. What are you going to do with all of this? In today's video, we're going to show you how to turn that used pickle juice into a delicious
Pickle-Brined chicken sandwich.
First, we want to take 1.5 cups of the pickle juice that you were going to just dump down the drain. But that's not all. We're going to add about a tablespoon of brown sugar. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. We're going to add a teaspoon of fresh black pepper and just a pinch of cayenne. You can whisk all that together, and this is going to be your brine for your grilled chicken sandwich. The great thing about a brine, it causes a chemical reaction in the chicken. It almost cooks it, and if you leave it in there too long, it'll cook it completely. But the great thing about pre-cooking it is it allows you to cook a drier cut, like a chicken breast. It allows you to cook it a little faster, so it's not so dry in the middle by the time it's finished cooking and has gotten to temperature. My rule is, if I'm gonna fry it, I go with the chicken thigh. If I'm gonna grill it, I go with the chicken breast. These chicken breasts I've cut in half because you want them to be really thin so that they cook pretty fast in a cast iron sear. Final one goes in. You want to make sure all these are as submerged as they can be. And you're gonna let this sit for about 2 hours, not much longer than that, because this will start to cook your chicken more than you wanted in this stage. But you want to give it at least 2 hours in the fridge in this brine. Next up is our bacon. My preferred method of making bacon is to roast it in the oven. It's the easiest way to get an even cook on it and to get it just perfectly crispy but not burnt just the way you want it. Pro tip, line your tray with a little bit of aluminum foil. That'll help you collect the drippings. You might want to use them later to cook with, or if nothing else, it's much easier to clean up to have a little drip tray here. You actually want to put the bacon in a cold oven before you preheat it. Throw that in there, and then you bring it up to 400 degrees. You kind of want the temperature to be gradual as the bacon kind of expresses its fat and it roasts in there. You're gonna set a timer for about 17 minutes, but you're gonna have to watch it because depending on how thick cut and wide it is, it's gonna cook at very different times, but it's going to go from perfectly cooked to burnt in a matter of minutes. So you do have to keep an eye at this. Set a timer for about 17 and then keep a close eye on it after that. All right, I think the bacon's just about ready. I think it took about 25, 26 minutes all told because it's pretty thick cut bacon. Let's see how it looks. Oh, there you go. And that's perfectly cooked, perfectly crispy, not too crunchy, oven roasted bacon. You're definitely gonna wanna toast your buns. A lot of people just do butter or just do oil. Trick is use mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is really just oil and egg and some vinegar. So you got all the oil you need and you've got the egg that's gonna fry up really nicely, and you've got the vinegar that's just gonna add some flavor to your toasted buns. You don't need a ton, you need a light layer on all of the cut sides of your buns. These should toast pretty quickly, 30 seconds or so on our preheated cast iron skillet. Let's go. A ring-a-ding-ding. Oh, perfectly toasted. That's what you love to see in your bun. Just you want a little bit of charring. That's the crunch, that's the flavor, and that's what you want on the inside of your sandwich. Now our chicken is thoroughly brined. We're just gonna pat our chicken dry with paper towels. Just wick as much moisture off as you can, because the drier it is when it goes into the cast iron, the better the sear. That means better crust, that means better flavor. Our cast iron is now heated. It's been heated for 10 minutes. So we're just gonna drop a little bit of oil in here. I'm gonna go with avocado oil because it has a very high smoke point. And you wanna let your oil heat up too for about a minute. When the chicken goes down, you want it to be just screaming hot. And you wanna hear this sizzle. That's how you know you're gonna make a good chicken sandwich. Listen to it now. Ooh! That's what you want to hear. Damn. You want to do about 8 minutes altogether, flipping them every 2 minutes. Sometimes people think when you cook meat, you only want to flip it once, but that's not the case with a chicken breast because you want the juices, the gravity is going to pull the juices down, and you want to flip it so the juices get pulled down again. You want the juices to go through, back and forth over this 8 minutes that we're searing them at high heat. If you want to take a thermometer and stick it in, 165 is what they always say for chicken. Between you and me, I think you can go a little bit under that because it's going to continue cooking after you take it off the heat source. But 165 or close to it is a great way to, it's a great rule of thumb. In the last 2 minutes, what I like to do is put your bacon on your chicken to warm that back up because you probably made your bacon earlier, and then top them both with your slice of provolone. Let that melt for a little bit and it's going to slow down, it's going to encase the bacon on top of the chicken and it's going to make it such a great bite in every sandwich. I found that these pair very well with a honey mustard dressing. Not a honey mustard, mind you, but a honey mustard dressing. Today we got Sweet Baby Ray's honey mustard dipping sauce, and I find the sweetness and the acidity of a honey mustard dressing really goes well to cut through the richness of this chicken, this brine chicken, bacon, provolone sandwich, and I would recommend you try it. But this sandwich also goes well with hot sauce, barbecue sauce, your favorite sauce. It all works.
You're still here? The video's over. Move on to the next post. Get out of here. Alright, maybe I can show you one more pickle juice recipe.
The pickle juice michelada.
Let's do it.
So, to make the pickle juice michelada, first we gotta make a pickle juice Bloody Mary. I like to start with clamato, half tomato juice, half clam juice. Yes, technically that makes it a Cesar, not a Mary, but close enough. Using all 32 ounces of this 32-ounce size of clamato. Next up, we want a 1/4 cup each of lemon juice and lime juice to give this a nice citrus tang. Here's where the pickle juice comes in. We're also going to add a 1/4 cup of pickle juice, and as if that wasn't enough, we're also going to add a 1/4 cup of juice from pickled jalapenos. Gets you a little more brine and a little bit of spice. We also want a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. Hard to go wrong with Old Bay. That just adds a little grit, some Cajun flavor to the mix. And then we want 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish. This stuff is the best, adds such a great, spicy, complex flavor to your Mary or Michelada. Last, certainly not least, we want 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Great sauce, adds such a savory umami flavor to anything it goes into. They don't eat much of it in Worcestershire itself, but that's where it's all made and it's shipped here to America where Americans eat the bulk of it. Once you've got all that in here, you just want to give it all a nice stir. More last, but even less least, is the vodka. You want about 1.5 cups of vodka. And with that in, you've successfully made a Bloody Mary. You could just pour this over ice, garnish it, and this is your Mary. But if you want to turn it to a michelada, you mix it with a little beer. But first, you want to take your glass, rub the rim with a little citrus. You want to dip that glass in your prepared salt and tahini blend. And then you've got a perfect rim around the top of the glass. Then you just want to garnish it. You could do a lot of different things on your bloody or your michelada. Celery is old traditional. Pickle spear is new traditional. I like to drop a pickle spear in the glass and then finish it up with ice. So then you just want to fill the glass about halfway with your michelada mix. Then you're going to top that off with a beer. A light beer is a very popular choice. Certainly any cerveza will work, but you can do a hazy IPA or something like that that just makes it a little more complex. Just garnish your glass with a lemon and a lime, or anything else you want. A pepperoni, a cheddar cube, a little hamburger slider, grilled cheese sandwich, chicken nugget, anything and everything will work. But we've got the pickle in the glass, some citrus on the rim. That's good enough for us. And then you just want to grab a straw, pop that in there, and you're off to the races. Refreshing.